Let's go. सारी रैन दिन सारा चैन मेरा होश तबीयत लुट के ले गई उड़ती जाए बन के पतंग करे मुझको तंग ये क्या है कह गई लहराए बेशर्मी से तड़पाए बेरहमी से छू लो तू कह दे जो सरा
आजा ना छूले मेरी चुनरी सनम कुछ ना मैं बोलूं तुझे मेरी कसम आजा ना छूले मेरी चुनरी सनम कुछ ना मैं बोलूं तुझे मेरी कसम
आया दीवाना दर पे तेरे बिन क्या करूं बता दे मेरे हम चुनरी 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 मारे दिल में बजी पिचकारी रंगी मैं पूरी तारी सजना तेरी चूनर मने समझारी के होगी तू है मारी सजना
लाल गंज की लाल बाग से लाल चुनरिया लाए
चुनरी चुनरी है तेरे लिए तो सजनी
लाल रंग में डाल डाल के लाल लाल रंगवाए
चुनरी चुनरी है तेरे लिए तो सजनी लहराए बेशर्मी से तड़पाए बेरहमी से छू लो तू कह दे जो सरा
आजा ना छूले मेरी चुनरी सनम कुछ ना मैं बोलूं तुझे मेरी कसम आजा ना छूले मेरी चुनरी सनम कुछ ना मैं बोलूं तुझे मेरी कसम
आया दीवाना दर पे तेरे बिन क्या करूं बता दे मेरे हम चुनरी 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 चुनरी
There are few things more unsettling than realizing your cat has been watching you. You turn around, and there they are, sitting perfectly still, eyes wide open, not moving, not blinking, just staring. Sometimes it happens from across the room. Sometimes your cat watches you from the hallway. And sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night, only to discover two reflective eyes looking back at you from the darkness. But what is your cat actually thinking? Is it curious? Hungry? Affectionate? Suspicious? Or is something much stranger happening? For thousands of years, humans have lived alongside cats. Yet even today, one of their simplest behaviors remains surprisingly mysterious. The stare. And the truth is, your cat may be communicating far more than you realize. Before we can understand why a cat stares at you, we need to understand the animal doing the staring. Domestic cats may live comfortably in our homes, sleep on our furniture, and eat food from bowls. But beneath that familiar appearance is a highly specialized predator. The domestic cat is descended from wild feline ancestors whose survival depended on observing the world carefully. Every movement mattered. A rustling leaf could mean prey. A sudden shadow could mean danger. A change in the environment could determine whether an animal hunted or became the hunted. So cats evolved remarkable visual attention. They notice movement. They monitor their surroundings. And they constantly gather information. That means when your cat looks at you, it isn't necessarily doing nothing. It may be studying you. Imagine living with a creature that controls nearly every important resource in your environment. Food, water, doors, windows, playtime, warm sleeping spaces, and even access to the outdoors. For a cat living in a human household, that creature is you. Your cat learns your routines. It may know the sound of your alarm. It may recognize the footsteps you make when you walk toward the kitchen. It may even learn what happens when you reach for a particular cupboard. Cats are excellent observers. So when your cat stares at you, it may simply be gathering information. What are you doing? Where are you going? What happens next? Perhaps you're preparing food. Perhaps you're getting ready to leave. Perhaps you've just picked up a toy. Your cat is watching because your behavior has consequences for its world. And sometimes, the stare is essentially a question. What's happening? There is another explanation that every cat owner knows all too well. Food. Cats quickly learn associations. If staring at you eventually leads to breakfast, the behavior becomes useful. If staring at you makes you walk toward the food bowl, even better. And if staring is followed by treats, your cat has just discovered a remarkably effective communication system. Humans have language. Dogs often bark, whine, or use obvious body signals. Cats have developed their own combinations of sounds and behaviors. A stare, a meow, a walk toward the kitchen, a glance at you, followed by a glance at the food bowl. Your cat may be saying, "I believe you know exactly why I'm looking at you." And sometimes, it's absolutely right. But not every stare is about food. Sometimes, your cat is simply comfortable with you. Cats don't always express affection in the dramatic ways humans expect. They may not run toward you with excitement every time you enter the room. Instead, affection can be subtle. A cat may choose to sit near you. It may sleep beside you. It may follow you from one room to another. And sometimes, it simply watches you. But there is an important detail to look for. The slow blink. When a relaxed cat looks at you and slowly closes its eyes. That can be a sign of relaxed, non-threatening social interaction. Some researchers and animal behaviorists describe this as a form of positive communication between cats and humans. And humans can respond in kind. Look gently toward your cat, and slowly close your eyes. Then open them again. You may notice your cat doing the same. It isn't a magic spell. It isn't proof that your cat is saying, "I love you." But it can be a beautiful example of how two different species have learned to communicate. Cats are naturally curious. Their world is built around information. A strange sound, a new object, a person entering the room, a bag being opened, a sudden movement. All of these things can trigger attention. And when your cat doesn't understand something, it watches. Imagine you bring home a large cardboard box. You place it on the floor. Your cat freezes. It looks at the box. Then it looks at you. Then back at the box. That stare may simply mean, "What have you brought into my territory?" Cats are territorial animals. Changes in their environment can matter. A new piece of furniture, a new smell, a new animal, even a rearranged room. Your cat may spend considerable time investigating these changes. And sometimes, watching you is part of that investigation. To understand another reason cats stare, look beyond the home. Look into the wild. A hunting cat cannot afford to react to every movement. Instead, it observes. It waits. It calculates. It watches for the right moment. Your house cat still carries many of those instincts. That doesn't mean your cat sees you as prey. But its brain remains highly responsive to movement. That's why a cat can suddenly become fascinated by something you barely noticed. A tiny insect, a moving shadow, a curtain blowing in the wind, a reflection of light, or your fingers moving beneath a blanket. The cat becomes still. The pupils change. The body lowers. The eyes lock onto the target. And suddenly, the harmless household pet reveals the predator hidden underneath. But here's where cat staring becomes important. Not every stare is friendly. Sometimes, a cat is watching you because it feels uncomfortable. The eyes alone don't tell the whole story. You need to read the entire body. Are the ears flattened? Is the body tense? Is the tail rapidly flicking? Are the pupils extremely dilated? Is the cat crouched low? Is it hissing or growling? These signals can indicate fear, stress, arousal, or defensive behavior depending on the context. In that situation, the stare may not mean, "I love you." It may mean, "I don't feel comfortable right now." And this is one of the biggest mistakes humans make with cats. We focus on the face and ignore the rest of the body. Cats communicate with their entire posture. Their ears, their tail, their whiskers, their eyes, their muscles, their movement. The stare is only one piece of the message. Then there is perhaps the strangest situation of all. You're sleeping. The house is silent. And somewhere nearby, your cat is watching you. Why? There are several possibilities. Your cat may simply be awake while you are asleep. Cats are naturally active during periods around dawn and dusk, although individual cats can adapt their schedules to household routines. Your movement may attract attention. A change in your breathing may wake your cat. Or perhaps, your cat has learned that waking you sometimes produces something useful. Food, attention, play, a door being opened, even if you don't realize it. Your cat may have trained you. Yes. You may think you're training your cat. But sometimes, the cat is training you. Cats are remarkably good at learning patterns. Suppose every morning you wake up, walk into the kitchen, and feed your cat. After enough repetitions, the sequence becomes predictable. Your cat doesn't need to understand the concept of Monday morning. It simply recognizes the pattern. Alarm, movement, kitchen, food. So when your cat begins staring at you before breakfast, it may already know what's coming. The same thing can happen in the evening. You sit on the sofa. You pick up your phone. You reach for a particular blanket. And suddenly, your cat appears. It has learned your habits. Your cat may know you better than you think. But there is something important to remember. There is rarely one universal meaning behind a cat's stare. The same behavior can mean different things depending on the situation. A relaxed cat with soft eyes may simply be comfortable. A cat staring at the food bowl may be hungry. A cat watching a new object may be curious. A tense cat with flattened ears may be frightened or defensive. And a cat staring at you while slowly blinking may be engaging in a relaxed social interaction. The secret isn't simply to ask, "Why is my cat staring at me?" Instead, ask, "What else is happening? What is the cat's body saying? What happened immediately before the stare? Where are you? What does your cat usually do next?" That context is the key. Most staring is completely normal. But sudden changes in behavior deserve attention. If a cat that normally behaves one way suddenly becomes withdrawn, stares unusually often, appears confused, or shows other concerning changes in eating, drinking, movement, litter box habits, or general behavior, it's worth taking those changes seriously. Cats are famous for hiding signs that they aren't feeling well. So behavior can sometimes provide an early clue that something has changed. A strange stare by itself does not mean your cat is sick. But a sudden and persistent change in behavior, especially when accompanied by other symptoms, should not simply be ignored. If you're concerned about your cat's health, a veterinarian is the right person to evaluate the situation. Perhaps the most fascinating thing about the cat's stare isn't what your cat sees. It's what your cat has learned. Your voice, your footsteps, your daily schedule, the sound of the food container opening, the way you reach for the door, the place where you usually sit, the time you normally go to bed. Your cat lives in a world of patterns. And you are one of the most important patterns in its world. So when those eyes follow you across the room, your cat may not simply be looking at you. It may be predicting what happens next. So, the next time your cat stares at you, don't immediately look away. Take a moment. Look at the ears. Watch the tail. Notice the posture. Listen for the sounds. And most importantly, consider the situation. Because that silent stare could mean many things. Maybe your cat is hungry. Maybe it's curious. Maybe it's waiting for you to open the door. Maybe it's watching your every move because you've become part of its daily routine. Or perhaps, it's simply comfortable enough to sit beside you and quietly share the same space. For an animal that doesn't speak our language, cats have become remarkably good at communicating with us. Sometimes through a meow, sometimes through a tail, sometimes through a gentle nudge, and sometimes through nothing more than a pair of eyes. Because behind that mysterious stare, there isn't necessarily a mystery at all. There is an animal observing its world, learning its environment, and communicating in the only language it knows. The language of behavior. So the next time you catch your cat staring at you, ask yourself one simple question. What is my cat trying to tell me? Because once you learn how to look, you may discover that your cat has been talking to you all along. If you found this documentary, like the video and subscribe for more cat behavior facts.